having any business before this honorable court, now draw nigh, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Admission of lawyers. Eamon Bhatia.
May it please the court, I move that Eamon Bhatia be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Eamon Bhatia be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Amani Chuk.
May it please the court, I move that Amani Chow be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Amani Chowk be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Christopher Chin.
May it please the court, I move that Christopher Chin be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Christopher Chin be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Alexander Feeden.
May it please the court, I move that Alexander Fadan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alexander Fadan be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Olivia Freya Gould Fenson.
May it please the court, I move that Olivia Freya Gould-Fenson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Olivia Freya Gould-Fenson be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Marta Hardy.
May it please the court, I move that Marta Hardy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Marta Hardy be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Branavan Jayarasa.
May it please the court, I move that Branavan Jayarasa be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Branavan Jayarasa be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Michael Stephen Craddock.
May it please the court, I move that Michael Stephen Kralik be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Michael Stephen Kralik be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Logan Thomas Mead.
May it please the court, I move that my brother Logan Thomas Mead be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Logan Thomas Mead be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Nanak Singh Narula.
May it please the court, I move that my brother Nanak Singh Narula be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nanak Singh Narula be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Julian Nithananthan.
May it please the court, I move that Shumia Nityanathan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Shumi Nithanathan be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Ashley Claudia Serafini.
May it please the court, I move that Ashley Claudia Serafini be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ashley Claudia Serafini be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Kendall Grace Shepherd.
May it please the court, I move that my daughter Kendall Grace Shepherd be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kendall Grace Shepherd be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Shivanga Kusianthan.
May it please the court, I move that Shivinga Thushiyanthan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Shivanga Thushiyanthan be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Lily Madeline Turpin.
May it please the court, I move that Lily Madeline Turpin be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lily Madeline Turpin be admitted as the lawyer of this court.
Vanessa Van.
May it please the court, I move that Vanessa Van be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Vanessa Van be admitted as the lawyer of this court. It will be necessary for the purpose of an oath or affirmation that all those being admitted today stand up but remain in their current places. Could the admittees please stand?
Eamon Bhatia. Amani Chuk. Christopher Chin. Alexander Fadan. Olivia Freya Gould Fenson. Marta Hardy. Branavan Jayarasa. Michael Stephen Kralik. Logan Thomas Mead. Nanak Singh Narula. Shumia Nithananthan. Ashley Claudia Serafini. Kendall Grace Shepherd. Shivanga Thushiyanthan. Lily Madeline Turpin. Vanessa Van. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill and ability. Would you please say, so help me God, or I do?
I do.
Would you please resume your seats?
Now that the formal part of the proceedings has ended, I'd like to warmly welcome you to the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today is Justice Harrison to my right and Justice Campbell to my left. Each of their honours are judges of the Common Law Division of the Court. Together, we constitute the court that has, in exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice. As we gather here today, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We recognise the long-standing and enduring customs and traditions of Australia's First Nations and acknowledge with deep regret the role our legal system has had in perpetrating many injustices against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. To all the new lawyers here today, welcome to the legal profession. Today is a day for celebration. You've all worked extremely hard to get here through caffeine-fuelled nights and trying to solve obscure problem questions, reading countless wafer-thin pages of textbook and more cases than you can hope to remember. I can assure you you'll forget most of them and it won't do you any harm. You've entered the world of eggshell skulls, encountered the mysterious reasonable person, and have understood that the Constitution consists of so much more than the vibe of the thing. In becoming a lawyer, you have joined a centuries-old profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an admissions oath dates back to the 12th century. This court first admitted lawyers to practice in 1824, and by 1830, the names of lawyers were entered onto rolls in this state. You have now become part of this tradition almost 200 years later. Perhaps for some of you, or for your family and friends, that's how long it feels like you've been studying. On that note, I'm pleased to welcome those with you today or watching on the live stream. For many of you, the support of your family and friends has been invaluable. No doubt, they have also often been on the receiving end of your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion. I do encourage you to take the time to thank them this evening. The oath or affirmation you have made today is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, or an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. It is your acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the moving of lawyers, swearing of oaths, and even our unusual choice of fashion. On a lighter note, on one occasion some years ago, a young member of the audience asked if we were doing Santa photos after the ceremony. I was terribly sorry to disappoint. However, although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. You'll be unsurprised to hear that last year we had to adapt quite a bit. COVID-19 meant a rapid shift to increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure that access to justice continued in the midst of a pandemic. Things didn't always go smoothly, as those with me on the bench can certainly attest to. There have been real difficulties to grapple with in terms of open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants. And occasionally a lawyer might even get stuck behind a Zoom kitten filter. But for all the challenges we faced, the impetus is greater than ever before for us to prioritise flexibility and accessibility. Better use of technology and increased working from home arrangements have profound implications for how our legal system interacts with many people, including those in rural or remote areas, those with a disability, medical conditions, or carers' responsibilities. As the newest members of the profession, you are at the forefront of innovation in the law and have a unique opportunity to see through changes so that justice is done openly and equitably. There are, of course, other changes that deserve attention. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter the duality that we have come very far and that much still needs to be done. Though women were originally not permitted to practice, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practising certificate in New South Wales and currently make up 63% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of Australia and the Chief Justice of 2 other states, Victoria and Queensland. However, women continue to face challenges of representation, including amongst judges of this court and amongst barristers, particularly in speaking roles before the High Court. It is heartening to see that the local court of New South Wales has almost achieved gender parity amongst magistrates, but we must not be complacent about these issues. There are other noticeable diversity concerns that we must face head on. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and people from diverse cultural background continue to be alarmingly unrepresented in the legal profession, and particularly within the judiciary and the ranks of senior counsel. We must also be alert to barriers to the profession for people from less privileged backgrounds. Law should not be a profession for the wealthy, and the idea that students may be dissuaded from studying law by the cost of a law degree, which this year has again increased, or because of other systemic issues, is troubling. Not just this, but we will only achieve a truly diverse profession when barriers to advancement are broken down and people from different backgrounds are properly supported in a collegiate and inclusive environment free from harassment and discrimination. These issues are fundamental to a just and transparent legal system and to the legitimacy of the rule of law. We need diverse representation amongst advocates and judges so that all people who become involved in our justice system can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. Despite these challenges, there is real scope for change. There is far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than those who have been around for as long as me. And you only need to look around this courtroom and then look at the paintings on the wall to see that is so. You are in a unique position as new lawyers who are entering the profession at a time when more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment or bullying within the profession, unfair laws, or systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable. I urge you to continue to speak out for these things because they really do matter. You are the future of the profession and will steer the direction it will take. As a lawyer, you will also need to make difficult ethical decisions at times. With regard to our personal characteristics, lawyers have been the butt of jokes for centuries. Cynics would say, of course, there are only a handful of lawyer jokes. The rest are true stories. But jokes aside, you must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court and the administration of justice and other ethical duties that you must uphold. Now that you are lawyers, you can get paid to argue instead of just arguing for free. Of course, there is a lot more to it than that. You're an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate for the marginalised. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum as a series of abstract propositions or concepts, but law as it applies to people's lives. For this reason, you must strive to deliver legal services competently and fearlessly, with courtesy and integrity. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, once said, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same question for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur." That is foundational to upholding the rule of law. For those of you who will practice law, the way you communicate information to others will have profound consequences for access to justice. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. One thing you will regrettably strike throughout your career is legislation which seems carefully crafted with the object of ensuring that no one can understand it. Your task is not just to understand it, but to explain it clearly to those whose rights and interests are affected by it. As lawyers, we must not keep the law locked up as something knowable only to us. A client seeking your advice should be empowered to understand your meaning, not mystified and confused. So be clear and concise in your writing and your speaking. Plain English is powerful. Consider, do I really need to say aforementioned or herewith? Must I sprinkle in that Latin phrase? Should I really use double negatives, tautologies and wordy clauses that take up a whole page? I would suggest the answer to these questions is obviously no. The best advocates can make their points simply and succinctly. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges, I must say, could also use that reminder from time to time. You only have to read the law reports to find that out. I also want to speak about failure. I would not be surprised if there are quite a few overachievers and perfectionists in the room today. Even so, at various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. When you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from those errors. You must fail at times in order to grow. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice. Even as Chief Justice, my decisions have on occasions been successfully appealed to the High Court. What happens is I'm generally obliged to tell myself that the High Court is never wrong. But in fact, at times, even dissenting High Court judgments later become the law. Finally, I want to emphasise that your mental health is extremely important. That might sound unexpected at this type of ceremony, but the law is not everything. There may be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out or distressed. If you do, you should not be afraid to seek professional help or take a step back when you need to. Also remember the law is a collegial profession, and in times of difficulty, the support of your peers will prove invaluable. Let me give you one example. Although you might find it hard to believe, I was admitted quite a long time ago. I lost my first case, and I lost many more after that, probably more than I in fact won. But throughout my 35 years in practice, I could always count on the other barristers in my chambers to share my disappointment at the unfairness of the verdict, the sly tactics of opposing counsel, and most often, I regret to say, the obtuseness of the judge or judges before whom I was appearing. I hasten to add, I don't include either of my fellow judges on the bench in that comment. Can I again, on behalf of all the judges of the Supreme Court, and particularly those sitting on the bench with me today, congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
We will stand.